So, a quick message to neurotypical spouses out there when they're dealing with their autistic spouse's anger, which I'm sure you have experienced that frequently. So, when your autistic spouse is going off, which they are known for doing that quite frequently, um, I want you to calmly say something like, I'm going to go read for a while, or I'm going to go to the store and pick up some milk, and tell him that you'll be back in a little bit. Because when you're trying to engage with him, let's say it's the autistic husband, you're the neurotypical wife, you're trying to engage with him when he's already mad. It's like trying to play with a mad dog. So you need to come up with your plan B. Plan B is I'm going to tactfully disengage. You never want to try to deal with a temper tantrum when it's active. When all is calm, then you can try to help him identify the feeling that he had underneath that anger. Was it fear, frustration, helplessness, hopelessness? If you want to kind of be a compassionate coach, help him find the words to express that feeling. For example, I felt helpless in the situation, or I felt frustrated by your comment, or I felt put down, felt like I was being parented. Ask what was going on back there when you were having a problem, or we were having a problem. So allow him to be brutally honest in these moments where you're kind of doing a post-argument investigation. And it may be hard at first, but it pays off, because once he's learned to do this, he can start to make statements to himself. If it's too difficult for him to express his anger in words, he will have an opportunity to, next time he gets angry, to think, okay, what's going on underneath this anger? Because anger is a surface emotion. Now, the other thing is, most autistic spouses with hot tempers, they will display just as much temper as they can get away with. So if you don't like the temper outbursts, then you need to tell your autistic husband that you're simply unwilling to put up with them. Tell him what will happen if he allows his temper to get out of control. What are you going to do? It can't be a hollow boundary. It needs to be a solid boundary. For example, when you scream at me, I'm going to leave the house for a while. I'll come back when you speak to me in a normal voice. And then you have to follow through. You have to set a hard boundary and a consistent hard boundary. Otherwise, he'll just know I can get away with it. There's no big consequence here. The other thing is, don't reinforce your husband's temper when he blasts off by trying to talk him down or try to argue with him. Or, for God's sake, don't try to explain your opinion on the matter. That's just going to throw gas on the fire. The most you want to say in those moments is, I'll talk to you when you've calmed down. And you may need to wait until you calm down before you come back to talk to him. So, a couple points there about dealing with anger. The big point here is you got to disengage, and you got to begin the business of setting some hard boundaries, because again, he will tend to know that if there's no accountability, no really hard consequence, then I can just keep venting like this. It's not healthy for him, it's not healthy for you, and in too many cases, it's not even safe.